guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Sunday night. We are rolling on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter/X, on Facebook, and on Twitch. It is episode 121 of the Throwdown with Matt, and today we are throwing down with the birthday boy, the Cincinnati-based pro wrestling content creator, the Cincy Wrestling Enthusiast, Gage Vineyard. How you doing?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. And, for those of you that are watching this live, if you have questions or comments, just throw them in the chat and we'll either handle them as we go or just do a little Q&A at the end.
For sure.
So we'll go ahead and get started with the first and most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been a fan of professional wrestling?
Honestly, since 2005, but my mom's told me stories about me, being in her womb, doing flips every time pro wrestling came on. Like WCW came on. I was doing flips in her stomach, which was a pretty cool story. But I vaguely started fully watching wrestling in 2005.
Gotcha. So what would you say is your earliest wrestling-related memory? What is the earliest thing you distinctly remember seeing as a kid?
Okay, let's see. Man, the Hardy Boys, which is one of my favorites, tag team of all time, which I'm repping their shirts right now, if you can see.
Nice.
Yep,
Nice.
yep. They made me fall in love with wrestling. With some of the stunts they did, they're the most polarizing tag team of all time.
No doubt. And I've mentioned this on several episodes recently. Those guys, to still be operating at the high level they're operating at their age is just amazing. That match they
Absolutely.
had with Fraxium recently was bonkers.
Yes.
And for us older guys, man, it's inspiring to see these guys that are not that much younger than I am still operating at that level. It really makes you think. And if you take halfway decent care of yourself, anything's possible.
For sure. And I'm so happy to see Jeff, actually healthy, especially, dealing with his demons.
Yeah.
So,
the thing I've always wondered about Jeff Hardy is, he's had a great career regardless, but if he could have stayed out of his own way, who knows how far he could have gotten beyond where he's gotten.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm a firm believer on this, and I agree, like, on some people's takes too about it. I think he could have been bigger than John Cena if he just stayed off his demons.
Yeah. But
it's unfortunate, but
it is. But ultimately, we've all got demons of
course,
or another. Those just happen to be his.
It's life,
and unfortunately, his became very public.
Right, for sure.
So, aside from being a fan, did you ever consider trying to wrestle yourself?
Yeah, I got some stories actually. I did decide to do pro wrestling school back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And the furthest I got to was being a referee. And I did a show out in Peebles, Ohio. It was like a little fairground show, whatnot, about an hour long. But yeah, I was a referee, and right before the matches, that all the wrestlers, came up to me, told me their spots, told me their finish, and told me what to look out for. And they paid me like $20 to $40. for an hour-long show, which is cool. And
Yeah.
I went to it for the longest time, and then I got into a relationship, and I just quit going. And I want to go back again.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. When I was of the age that I could have considered going into professional wrestling, at the time it was still very much the land of the giants. And
For sure.
I'm a comparatively small guy. I'm actually around 5'5".
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
at that time, at my size, there was just no way,
For
you
sure.
know, but it does my heart good now to see the smaller, really athletic guys actually making a go of it and having success in the business that for so long there was no way somebody that size could actually succeed.
Right. Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, yeah,
Like when he won that triple threat match against Randy and Kurt Angle.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was a
yeah.
big moment.
It was. And, to some extent, Rey Mysterio kind of broke the glass ceiling for the smaller guys.
For sure.
Um,
Yes, absolutely.
but I mean, now, I mean, you see people like Adam Cole, for instance. He's not a
Yeah.
big guy, but he is phenomenal.
For
and,
sure. Yeah. Heck yeah, he is.
and he can hang with the bigger, stronger guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Funny story. My brother, we were down in an NXT show in Florida, and me and my brother were in the bathroom, and Adam Cole was in there using the bathroom. I think he was changing or something like that. And my brother got a picture with Adam Cole right behind him.
nice.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. So, are you pretty much Cincinnati born and bred?
No, I was born in Kentucky. Henderson, Kentucky. Probably about, I don't know, 30 minutes away from Evansville, Indiana.
Okay.
So I'm born there. I've lived in Kentucky about 10 years. My dad passed away in 2010. Moved up to Cincinnati with a good family, and I've been living in Cincinnati for 15 years or so.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've never actually been to Cincinnati myself, but a friend of mine from high school actually ended up getting a full scholarship to the University of Cincinnati doing drama, dance, and voice.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Don't know whatever became of her, but so I guess that was sort of, if I had any connection at all to Cincinnati, that was it. But
you're good. Yeah.
But I mean, I know that I know it's a good city, and man, I love y'all's quarterback. I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan.
Oh yes, yes.
That guy.
It's funny. I'm a diehard Packers fan. My dad got me into being a Packers fan. He's originally from Wisconsin. But yeah, I'm a diehard Packers fan, but I root for the Bengals because hometown for sure. And how can you not like Joe Burrow? He's a great quarterback. I love watching him throw that football. I just wish they get him a little bit of help on the offensive line. They've been saying that for how many years?
Yeah.
But
But yeah, man. Like I said, absolutely love Burrow. Not only is he a good quarterback, he seems like a good human being.
Oh yeah, he's a class act. Yeah, for sure.
I'm also a big fan of the Eagles, and I love Jalen Hurts, and I'm dying for an Eagles Bengals Super Bowl.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah. That would be a good matchup for real.
Man, I would love to see that.
For sure. That would be a really good. I mean, they did face each other last year or so.
Yeah.
And Eagles smoked them. But if the Bengals can regroup, man, they can bounce back and make it to the Super Bowl. That would be a fun matchup.
It would. It would. I would love to see that. So away from wrestling and all of the content that you're creating and such, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
Let's see. So I like watching UFC. I'm a big UFC fan also. I'm a big baseball fan. I mean, honestly, it's just my world is just consist of pro wrestling, sports, hanging out with family, hanging out with friends, um, just a daily lifestyle for me, I guess. I like collecting wrestling cards. I do have a bunch of trading cards I have. I like collecting a bunch of like sports jerseys and stuff like that.
Cool.
So, I have a nice collection of hats going on. I'm a big hat guy.
Cool.
So
outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
That's a good question. Honestly, it would have to be. It would have to be my buddy that I knew for only 5 years. He passed away last year.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, you're good. You're good. But he was a really good friend. He would give the shirt off his back if you didn't have none. He was that type of friend. But yeah, he's the one that inspired me for real to be a better person overall, a better friend. But yeah.
Gotcha. So, what does your family think about the fact that you're pursuing being a content creator in the world of sports entertainment?
Oh, they actually they love it. They support it. I actually got them back into watching wrestling recently. I moved back into my my mom got remarried a couple years ago, like 2 years ago or so. After being alone for like 10 plus years or so. Got remarried. Now I got my stepdad fully watching, invested every Monday night. Every Monday night we're on the couch watching Monday Night Raw. I got them invested, and now like I'm trying to get other people invested. But they're supportive of it. I mean, they bought me a sign right there.
Oh yeah,
that little neon sign. Yep. They bought me a sign for my birthday. My stepdad got me a Penta shirt off of online, which is really cool.
Nice.
So yeah, they know I'm very, very invested into it. I go to shows as much as I can. I went to my first Friday Night SmackDown in Dayton like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really fun. My buddy Chevy actually bought me tickets. But yeah, floor seats. It was pretty cool. But yeah, my first Friday Night SmackDown.
Very cool. Very cool. So, what would you say is your favorite thing about Cincinnati?
I think it would have to be Skyline. I like Skyline. I'm a big Skyline fan.
And that's is that the chili or
the chili? Yes, a chili. Some people don't like it, but me, since I've been living in Ohio, Cincinnati, that's all I know is Skyline.
Gotcha. Well,
Um,
I'm from Atlanta, so I'm not that
oh,
familiar.
that's cool.
What is in Skyline chili that makes it different?
So, it's actually people say it's water. It's like watered down chili, but honestly, I think it's just a taste of it. I mean, it's a little bit of you could taste a little bit of cinnamon in it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So, which Gold Star people have said that you could taste chocolate in their chili, which is weird. I like I said, I don't go to Gold Star that much. I go to Skyline a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the other thing I like about Cincinnati is they got sports teams I can go to. They got sports venues I can go watch entertainment. Like they got a hockey team, semi-pro, I think, the Cyclones.
Okay.
They're not they're not a good team by no means, but it's still fun to go watch them play.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, as far as hockey goes, all Atlanta has are the Gladiators. They're in the East Coast Hockey League. We've had a couple of attempts at having NHL teams here, and they always leave. So
right,
I mean,
gotcha.
Atlanta, unfortunately, is really not a hockey town. I love hockey personally, but
right, I do too. I do too.
But I mean, we just can't seem to keep an NHL team here.
Yeah, we don't have an NHL team. I wish we did, but it's just a semi-pro.
Gotcha.
So, or I think it's I think they're trying to make it to the National League or something like that. But yeah.
Gotcha. So, what is your biggest pet peeve watching wrestling as a fan? Is there something you see in the content that just gets under your skin and just bugs you?
I don't know. Maybe when people, I don't know. Well, so when people call out botches or stuff like that, I don't like it because it's a mistake. It's life. You're gonna have botch every now and then. And people act like it's the end of the world. Like, oh my gosh, because we've seen it so many times. Penta slips, falls, but he makes up for it. And people, throws a big fit about it. And it's like, oh my gosh, he's a luchador. He's not supposed to make mistakes, Yeah. And I'm like, it's professional wrestling.
Exactly.
You're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah. And also, these people are putting their health and their lives on the line for your entertainment.
Right. And I try to explain it. I'm like, I've done it. I made mistakes before, like, counting to 5 on accident, and I had to ring the bell,
Yeah.
But it's a mistake. And I don't see them trying to get into the ring and doing it. So yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna get mad over bots. I don't know. That's my pet peeve.
Yeah. I would guess mine actually are the networks bleeping out when the crowd starts doing the holy shit chant.
Now, yes, on Netflix or SmackDown.
Just let it happen. I mean,
right.
I mean, there's worse things they could be saying.
I thought that was part of going on to Netflix deal. It was because
did
you
too.
gain a bigger audience, and it's for mature audience only, right?
Yeah, I thought the same, but yeah, they're starting to bleep it even
because
on Netflix.
because on Netflix they have a bunch of comedian shows, and the comedians are cussing everywhere. F
Oh yeah,
this, F that, and
yeah.
we can't get away with the broadcast bleeping out that crap. Like
I
what?
know.
That don't make sense.
I know.
I
I
agree with
agree.
you. That is kind of that's irritating.
And the constant bleeping of that, it just takes away the flow of what's happening.
Right,
So
right.
anyway,
You're like,
that's
because
that.
it's bleeping, or like, and people are like, is something wrong with the TV? And I'm like, no, 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 no. They're bleeping out what people are saying because they're saying no shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, that's stupid. I'm like, yeah, I know. Uh,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
so
Yep.
yeah, I agree with you on that one.
So from your perspective, is it more important for a talent to be great in the ring or great on the mic?
Oh, honestly, I get. I think it's for them to be great in great in the talent. Um, but you also need to have mic skills a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. I think talent over mic skills for me. Yes,
Gotcha.
because that's where you
It's
showcase your
funny.
talent is in the ring.
Right. Well, it's funny. I have asked that question on every episode I have done, and it has been almost a 50-50
For real,
split
people will
as to
say
what,
mic too.
yeah,
Okay,
as to what, because I mean, most of my guests have been indie wrestlers, so it's been
okay,
interesting getting their perspective, and it's about 50-50 as to which they think is more important. And it's always interesting because they've got reasons why they think one or the other.
right.
And but yeah, that has definitely been the most 50-50 question I've got in my repertoire. So
Huh? That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It is.
it's probably. I'll have to use that question in one of my interviews. That's. I will see what they say.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? A match that you can have watched it a million times and you always find yourself going back to it. What you got?
Yeah, I got two of them actually.
Go for it.
But the first one is Jeff Hardy winning his first WWE championship. I went
Okay.
berserk. I went ecstatic. I could like you said, I could rewatch it over and over and over and still be that little kid jumping up and down for him, being so happy. And then the other one, when the Hardy Boys returned to WrestleMania 33. I was sitting in my basement with my brother, because I had Facebook at the time, and that's when I was just starting scrolling through wrestle news, like Wrestle Feed and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen rumors that the Hardys, are out of their contract in TNA and they're coming to WWE. I had pretty good sources, and I'm telling my brother, I'm like, dude, we got to watch WrestleMania 33. The Hardy Boys are going to return. And he's like, no way, no way. So I'm sitting down there in my basement, and New Day's about to announce the Hardy Boys, and he's like, no, the New Day is going to be in the tag team match. And I'm like, no, just wait. And then when the Hardy Boys hit, we just went crazy. I cried because I was like, I didn't think we would see the Hardy Boys back in WWE after that. But
Yeah.
never say never.
No. As far as the never say never thing, especially now with this new regime in WWE and their willingness to work with other companies, just about anything is possible right now.
Right, for sure. And then the third one I have to add is recently when John Cena won his 17th title. I was pretty happy for him. Even though Jeff Hardy might be my personal GOAT, John Cena's my childhood GOAT. John Cena's like a big part of my childhood for sure.
Gotcha. So, piggybacking on the previous question, do you have an all-time favorite promo?
Oh, there's so many great ones.
Yeah, there are.
I like Stone Cold's promos a lot. He has one of the best promos ever. When he's naming off he's like, I might have 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, 4 beers, a Bloody Mary, a shot of vodka. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite. Or when The Rock says, I'll, shine that thumb real nice, stick it sideways, and stick it right up your candy ass,
Yep.
But yeah, those two are one of the best, for real, when it comes to cutting promos.
Gotcha. So, in your opinion, who right now, right at this moment, who are the best male and female wrestlers in the world?
Like, it don't matter from each company.
Right. I'm talking the world of professional wrestling in general. Who are the best male and female?
Male is AJ Styles, and I think a lot of people can agree with that.
Yeah.
I just met him recently in Florence in a meet and greet. Super cool dude. I just wanted a picture. I didn't want an autograph because a picture is worth 1,000 words, is what they say. Yeah. Women's, I'm gonna have to say Io Sky. I think she's a phenomenal wrestler, and my fandom has shoot through the roof for her like recently because she's got really good in-ring skill, like talent. Like, I don't care if she can't talk English very well, she can back it up in the ring.
For sure. Interestingly enough, I mean, I've never met him, but AJ Styles lives about 30 minutes from me.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, he does live in Georgia. That's cool.
Yeah.
Same with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. So, if you were a wrestler, who would be your dream opponent? Who would you love to have the opportunity to share a ring with? And it can be present day or past.
Oh. Jimmy Fly Snuka.
Oh, Superfly, yeah.
Yeah. And it's his birthday too, so.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. But yeah, I never grew up on the 80s, but I did go back and watch it. I still do go back and watch the 80s wrestlers now. And yeah, Jimmy Fly Snuka, Razor Ramon would have been like one of my favorites if I were a fan of the 80s.
Gotcha. Well, there's an old saying, never meet your heroes because ultimately they'll end up letting you down. But, it sounds like you had the opportunity to meet AJ Styles. Have you had the chance to meet any of your other heroes, and what was the experience like?
Oh, yeah, for sure. When I was doing the pro wrestling school, called Bone Crushers in Cincinnati on Vine Street. Roger Ruffin actually runs it, and he used to be a referee back in the day for WWF. I had the opportunity to meet Abyss.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that was super cool. He gave me a he gave me a rundown what was his one of his favorite matches. And he had to say Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I met Braun Strowman. I got a picture with him. He's pretty cool. He's a big dude for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude is insane. But I just got a picture with him. They gave me what's it called, the real American beer, Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah.
They had a bunch of cases like that and pre-signed of his autograph, and I drink beer. I'm 26, but after I drank it, I just cut out the signature and just pinned it up to my wall.
Oh yeah, I see that.
So the AJ action figure is what I bought after I met AJ, because I was like, at the point, it's like, oh, I should have at least bought an action figure right before I met AJ so he could sign it, because he was signing everything. He signed my buddy's dad's T-shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
But I also got to do the click sign with him, which is really cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, who else did I meet? I met Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I thought that was really nice. I got to train with him.
Cincinnati.
Right. I got to train with him too. But yeah, that was super really cool dude for sure. Who else? I met a bunch of indie wrestlers. But yeah, those are my most recent ones.
Gotcha. So, what is your favorite move? What is a move that you just love seeing done?
I love the Swanton Bomb. Either the Swanton Bomb or the Stone Cold Stunner.
Gotcha. So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling, specifically indie wrestling?
I mean, it could definitely gain an audience for indie wrestling. I realize most people are starting to be invested in indie wrestling more.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. I love it, and I think it's a big reason. And I think it's Cody Rhodes is he's the one that really made indie wrestling what it is today, because he started AEW, which is if you like it or not, it's a small indie promotion that just has a televised broadcast. And yeah, Cody Rhodes is the reason why indie wrestling is hot today, is in my opinion. Just because of the way he has reinvented his career. Because he didn't just go jump to TNA after he got released. He went to a bunch of indie promotions, and then he jumped to TNA and then Ring of Honor and other stuff. But yeah, big reason is Cody Rhodes why indie wrestling is hot, and why not we can use it as a social media platform today because a lot more people were invested in it.
Gotcha. So, knowing everything you know at this ripe old age of 26, um, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, just don't do dumb mistakes. Think wisely, think ahead. Honestly, if I didn't get into a relationship, I honestly could have shot off into a a good referee gig. Honestly, I could at least doing a lot more matches now. Or at least have a contract by now. You know what I mean? Because they
Gotcha.
really like me as a referee. Because I would get into it. Because I've watched Earl Hebner referee. I've watched Little Nate, Charles Robinson, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way they get into it, I've watched them, so I mimicked them, during training, and they loved it, and they really thought I could be a really good use as a referee. So if I would have, think wisely and made the right moves, I at least could have been somewhere now. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So, something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. And my previous guest was an indie wrestler from North Carolina by the name of Blade Brown. And
Okay.
the question that he posed is, what is your overall goal in the wrestling business, and what are you doing to try to meet that goal?
My goal is honestly is just trying to gain an audience. I'm not, posting clickbait stuff. I'm actually posting news, rumors, and what's being said. I don't want to be listed as, one of those clickbait guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
My goal is to get people invested in my content. Um, I think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to professional wrestling. But I also still have a lot to learn. You know what I mean? Uh, but yeah, my goal is to let people know I'm not a bullshitter.
gotcha.
Because I love this. I love this industry. I love the sport. Um, whether it's fake or not, it's my passion. Like I said, it's my fix. It's my drug. It's it's my everything. Without it, I don't know where I would be for real. Like I'm so invested into it. I can watch hours. Even when I go to bed, I have what will be on my TV as a wrestling match. So I eat, sleep, breathe professional wrestling. I don't. I know I shit on AEW, and that's because of Tony Khan. I know people don't like Tony Khan, but it's the booking decisions for me. But I don't shit on the promotion. I'm gonna sit there and watch it because it's professional wrestling.
Right, right. So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to ask the next guest?
uh, what? Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to think of it. Who? inspired? What wrestler inspired you to get into professional wrestling, and what match was it? That would be my question.
Okay. So we're getting toward the end of things now. So do
Okay.
you have any I guess upcoming content or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
I try to post on my Facebook, but I just been posting a lot of TikTok, my YouTube, my Twitch, and my Instagram, of course. But I don't like. I try to post whatever I can. Like, I don't. I don't have a schedule for it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Well, as far as what we've got coming up here on the Throwdown, tomorrow night, Monday the 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I've got episode 122 with pro wrestler Player One, Johnny Cass. Tuesday the 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 123 with a ring announcer who is based right here in Atlanta, the People's Princess, Salem Alexander. And then this Thursday, the 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern, I've got a rescheduled episode 108 with another guy from here in Atlanta. And I noticed that he's actually in the Instagram chat right now. Too Hot Deion Summers. So we've got those folks coming up this week. And as things stand, I am pretty much booked up through the month of June, and I'm starting to get some bookings into July at this point. So, I mean, this thing is really continuing to take on a life of its own, and I'm just having a blast being along for the ride.
Hey, man, I'm excited. I can't wait to watch you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to go ahead and throw up a QR code here on the screen. That QR will take you to my link tree that has the links to all of my various social media. And, any of you watching this, if you'd be so kind, just hop on to my various socials and give me a follow. We've also got a merchandise store that has t-shirts, hats, coffee mugs, all of the usual stuff. And, any of that actually just helps offset production costs for the Throwdown. And, if you're wanting to just help out with production costs, you can always use this QR code and buy us a coffee. But before we wrap this up, Gage, do you have any final words that you'd like to say to the audience?
Yeah, I'll have a logo out here soon. It's CWE. It's in red and orange splatter paint logo design. It will be probably in the next week or so before I have it. We're getting down to the final wire of production, but it's gonna have my socials on it, my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and whatever else I can add, like my sponsorship, WG, which is a energy drink. But yeah, they decided to sponsor me a couple months ago, which is cool. But yeah, I'll be having a logo out here soon, so keep an eye for that.
Nice. So anyway, at this point, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. But like I said, I'll be back tomorrow night at 7 with Player One, Johnny Cass. And in the meantime, be good to each other, love each other, and let's